Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into content pillars. So exciting. Now in January of last year, I made a video about the basics of content pillars. So I kind of describe what content pillars are and how to really identify what should your content pillars be. So if you're interested in learning about the basics of what it actually is, go watch that video and I will link it right over here. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about how to really identify your content pillars. And your content pillars can really change over time, but sometimes when you're first starting out, it can be really hard to figure out what your content pillar should be. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you a couple of journal prompts and, a couple of questions to ask yourself to really realize and identify what your content pillars are. And I'm also going to be sharing a little bit of my mistakes in figuring out my content pillars in the process so that you can avoid it altogether. So without further ado, let's get started. First things first, let's talk about audience. And I'm going to share with you my biggest struggle when I first started creating content and my biggest mistakes, even when I was creating YouTube videos, when I was in high school and college, and even when I started working on my business. The one mistake that I made, and I feel like it might seem obvious to some, but I made this mistake many times. And so I feel like it's very much important to note that I wasn't focusing on the right audience when I was creating my content. And so once you know your audience really well and what they want and what they need, then you can focus your content pillars around that. So I'll give you an example. When I first started my virtual assistant business, I was creating content around being a virtual assistant, how to be a virtual assistant, what I was doing as a virtual assistant, and kind of just what my job was basically. And so the audience that I would attract were other virtual assistants and not the audience that I wanted to attract, which were really great business owners who needed help creating content and who needed support. And so that's like that little tweak that I had to make where the content isn't about me, it's about what I can do for other people. So my content pillars have shifted dramatically and it has changed many, many times, which is something that you can do as well. Your content evolves as you evolve. So now it's more focused on creating sustainable content, how to create sustainable content. I also talk a lot about camera confidence. I give some posing tips and how to show up as your best self, especially as someone like me who is, a introvert. So the questions that you can ask yourself in order to get the right audience is, number one, who your audience is and what do they turn to you for information? Like, what are they actually looking for? Another question that is super important right in the beginning when you're determining your content pillars is, what do you want your brand to be known for? Sometimes we can get into the throes of different trends and different ideas from other people. It's really important to take a step back and see what you want your brand to be known for so that you have a really cohesive imaging and messaging on your content. When you're doing your research on your current audience, you might want to take a look at what are the challenges that your audience has that you can solve or that you're trying to solve, and what are the questions that they might have that you can answer. Another very, very common mistake that people make when they're first starting out their content is that they are using wording and jargon that is very specific to their industry. When you're creating content, you want to cast a wide net, not wide enough where it talks to everybody, but a wide enough net so you can really pull people in and educate them on what you're offering, whether that's products or services. But I see a lot of people, they really go into heavy detail into their industry and what they do, and they use industry jargon. And so what's really important when you're first starting out creating your content is to take a look at keyword research. So looking at the common themes that you are wanting to take a look at, make sure that you're searching some current keywords that people are using. Like, I'll give the same example as I did in my last video. If you are a wedding photographer and you are searching wedding photography, I like to do keyword research on Pinterest, but it's also really great on Google and on Instagram as well. There are some third-party platforms that can help you with this research. Doing this keyword research and doing a research of what people are searching for is a really good indication of what needs to be made on the internet. And the last little tidbit and piece of advice that I would give is to really keep an ear open and an eye open for what people are talking about. So whether you're first starting out your business and you haven't talked to the masses yet, or you haven't had any clients yet on what they need, what the common questions that they have, you can still take a look at YouTube videos, at different courses, or if you've been doing this for a while and you've had clients or you've had discovery calls or you've had some sort of contact towards people who might be interested in your service, take a quick note at what are some common themes that your customers come to you for. That is it for me for this week's video. Let me know if you enjoyed it or if you have any more questions about content pillars. I would love to make another video for you in the future. But for now, I will say good luck and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.